right, everybody, welcome to a little extra chapter of LegionsCast. A little special chapter, a little excerpt.
Side Quest.
Yeah. We're gonna have some fun. We've got some really cool stuff to show off today. Something to wet everybody's whistle. So we're here. I am Lord Steve Bisciotti. Jeremy Gerard is with me. Travis Bowles is with me. Hey guys, how you doing? So what's going on here is we're recording early this 4th of July. So if you're catching this right now, we can't respond to your comments because we're not live. Feels like we're live. I mean, if you want to, I got that feeling. I still love all of you live. Does that make sense? But we're not happening right now. This is pre-recorded. So feel free to comment away, but know that we're home watching it and seeing the comments possibly from there. So, Jeremy, do you want to take over and talk about what we're doing here?
Yeah, so as Steven said, we are pre-recording this. This is one of the reveals for Mythic Legions All-Stars 5+, when we posted the list of influencers that were going to be part of this this reveal kind of campaign throughout the month of July. LegionsCast was, of course, one of the listings on that grouping, but trying to get 3 influencers like ourselves together for a schedule is very, very challenging. So we wanted to post this reveal actually a few weeks from now, but this was really the only time the 3 of us could get together. So as Steven said, 4th of July morning, and we are recording this. But when we post it live, it will feel like it's live, although it was pre-recorded. So we're going to do that today. We're going to reveal one of the upcoming figures from Mythic Legions All-Stars 5+. And now, Steven, shortly before the show, I gave you a sneak peek at this figure, so you know what to expect. But Travis, you haven't seen this, correct?
No, and I'm pretty excited.
You should be, Travis. I think this one is going to tickle your fancy.
Got a scoop on this. So the character that we're revealing today, I think we'll go right into it. We'll do the reveal. We'll talk about that. And it's going to lead to, I think, a little side conversation for this episode of LegionsCast, because the figure that we're going to show today is one of the PowerCon debut figures that are part of the line. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So for those that don't know, the PowerCon debut figures, a number of years ago, the Horsemen started doing kind of almost like a subset of figures in the line that have some similarities to some characters that I think people know from another universe. We'll say it that way. Very, very popular in the line. In the last number of years, these figures have made their debut at the PowerCon convention, but they've also been available as a pre-order. The last few All-Stars waves included a couple of these PowerCon debut figures. So that is what we are going to look at today. Now, what we're going to do is I'll bring up the graphics, I'll bring up the images here, and then Travis, the last slot I have to show is actually the character's name and bio. I was hoping that you would do the honors of reading that.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Awesome. So before we get into it, a number of people have been speculating who this year's PowerCon debut figures are going to be. Steven, what characters have you seen people speculating?
Oh, the big 2 that are pretty popular to talk about, and I myself thought that this was one more than the other was a huge possibility. But it was Fisto and Beastman. Makes sense with the new parts that we got for Figure Obscura, that we could have some so the furry piece, and everything for Beastman, and obviously Magnus. He looks like he could be Fisto's brother. So, the big thing with Fisto that I have always wondered is how they're going to get the big fist. Do you need the big fist? Will they just ignore the big fist? I mean, how's that going to all fall in here? So. But that's the 2 that I can think of right off the top of my head.
you too, Travis, those are the ones you've seen?
Yep, that's the big stuff that I've seen. That's the majority of conversation that I've been following. It looks like those would be the two that people are expecting. Now, I would also say I think those two are probably two, like, I mean, if you're talking about Motu fans, I'd say those two are heavy hitters for Motu fans.
Yeah, sure. So I've heard those as well. Those are the ones that I've seen people speculating. Steven, I think that if you're going to do kind of a character that has shares a design sense with Fisto, you've got to have the fist, right? You've got
that's what I would prefer.
Yeah, exactly. So interesting to see this year's selections, including this character right here. So what do you think, guys?
Travis is showing no expression. Is he frozen?
I feel like Travis froze. I feel like
Travis froze.
We broke Travis. So we bring up
that is hilarious.
We bring up the reveal, and Travis freezes in excitement. Look how serious he looks.
Did he even hear us?
I have no idea. I can't hear him. I think we broke Travis.
All right, well, there he is.
Oh my gosh.
That was hilarious, really.
The minute we bring up the reveal, Travis, you totally froze. And the expression on your face during it froze on was just perfectly just stoic.
For a minute, we didn't realize you froze, and I'm like, is he trying to be funny? What is...
All of a sudden, this message comes up and goes, you should move closer to your router. And I'm like no!
Okay, Travis. So what do you think of the reveal? Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it, and I love it. I will say that this is probably one of my favorite Motu characters, just from the standpoint that I always thought he looked so Webster always looked so evil, which I loved. This is really awesome.
Yeah, this one blew me away.
Yeah.
See here in the accessory shot, so he does have two different heads. Obviously, these are repainted versions of the heads that came originally with the Vampire Knight. So both the helmeted head and the unhelmeted head, that the kind of extra eyes were painted on to give them more of that, that arachnid type look. I love what they've done here with the weapon, using that like string tied into the handle in the mace head. I mean, obviously previously we got that with a chain, but that string has that super vintage type feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that the string being part of the real Webster's gimmick, and you got to have a string involved with this guy, because every time you find a batch of Masters of the Universe figures and you find a Webster in there, his string is all tangled up, but it's always there. It's always there saying, "Hey, this is part of the history of this thing."
And this is a cool use. Obviously, we're seeing here that back piece that originally came with the Alethea figure. So really cool right out of the gate to see another use of that new back piece and the new lower arms. So those fully skeletal lower arms are a newer piece that was introduced with the Alethea wave. So I like the use of that here on this figure.
I love the use of the skeletal legs too, just from the standpoint of giving them just that creepy, just spider-like vibe.
Yeah, that segmented look of an arachnid. It works.
Yeah.
In fact, at the first glance that I took at this, I was like, my brain wasn't processing what they did there. It was like, because they're painted, it immediately is recognizable as what it is a tribute to. And it's like, wow, that's, I know what they're doing here. And then it's like, well, wow, how'd they do that? And then it's like, oh, okay, 2.0, right? Skeleton here. Is that a 2.0 skeleton?
Yeah, that's a 2.0 body. Yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, it's the parts. it's the head from that vampire knight. And I mean, the body builds in terms of the arms and legs are really similar to what we got on that skeleton soldier, the one in Aven of Decay that came with both the male and female torso pieces.
Yep.
Really similar build to that, but like past PowerCon debuts, painted in some of those brighter colors, like the oranges and yellows around the chest plate. Those are colors that we don't see a lot throughout the line outside of these PowerCon debuts.
So cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that pose too.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So Travis, this is the character's name and bio.
Who wrote this? Seriously. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do this. Are we ready? It is Okeaetos. Okeaetos. I feel pretty good about that. Faction, the Congregation of Necronomicus. Race, what the? Arakkighast. Arakkighast. Role, he's an assassin. Devious and deadly, the enigmatic Arakkisan killer known as Okeaetos is a frightful tangle of bony limbs and shadowy menace, a terrifying mixture of flesh and bone. The arakkighast is a race of not often encountered in the realm of mythos, keeping mostly to unlit corners of hidden recesses. The assassin Okeaetos takes great joy in hunting down and eliminating his prey. A devout worshipper of his faction's dark god, Okeaetos hopes that his dark deeds will be rewarded upon Necronomicus' return. I feel like I nailed that.
I outside of the word arakkighast, I think you did very great.
I really like his pronunciation of Necronomicus as Necronomicus. There's a C in there as he likes
I was
to put.
putting a C in there, wasn't I?
Yeah,
He does.
I like that.
I think
It's
that's
very Travisy.
I think that's the evil book from Evil Dead.
No, it's
yeah, that's close.
it's
Yeah.
scapular, or it's pelvicus. He got fired for, or he got in trouble for misreading stuff. Now we know why. He get fired. He got in trouble, right? Or
Oh my
cast
God.
out or something.
Can you imagine if I was a wizard and I really had to learn spells?
Every time you try to cast something, it backfires because you mispronounce it. Never know what the actual result of what you're casting is going to be.
I would make Orko look like a superstar.
Oh yeah. So looking at this bio and this character, a couple things that I think are cool that are worth noting. It's a brand new race. So arakkighast is not a race we've seen previously, which is super cool. Another member of the Congregation of Necronomicus, which getting this character, I think, is a nice little teaser of, the anticipation that everyone has for the end of year, where it's no big surprise that we've seen, 3 different horseman waves corresponding to the different G-Cons. This coming year, we're obviously going to see the rise of the 4th and final horseman, Necronomicus. So that's super cool, and this is kind of a nice little prelude to that, I guess.
Oh, super exciting!
So exciting.
Yeah. And I love the thought of what people are going to do. You guys introduce a new race, and it's fun watching all those customs and creativity come out of this group of fans.
Absolutely. I mean, but I also think, like, looking at this character, even though it's got some very, very clear design nods to, the other character, this fits in the realm of mythos to me. I can put this with my other characters and figures, and it doesn't feel out of place.
Easy.
I always have integrated my what's the word you want to call these figures? Not
The PowerCon debuts.
the PowerCon debut figures. I've integrated them always with my regular collection. I always think it'd be cool to kind of put them on their own shelf because it would really, all the bright colors and stuff might look cool. But I haven't done it, and I think it works. I think they fit right in with the rest of the characters always for me.
It's crazy to think how large this little subset of figures now is for the line. And I mean, they're a popular part of the line. Obviously, in my role with the studio, I get to speak to a lot of new fans and so forth. I get to meet a lot of new fans at shows. And the PowerCon debut figures are very, very popular. They're a great doorway into the line, similar to what we saw at the end of last year with the Figure Obscura Krampus figure. A lot of toy fans I find have heard of Mythic Legions, but because it's not something they're immediately kind of nostalgic about, the way we might be with like a G.I. Joe or a Star Wars or something. We say all the time that there's limited budget and limited space in toy collections. So for whatever reason, they don't pull the trigger. They don't buy their first Mythic until they see something they recognize. And they're like, oh, that's super cool. I know that toy. I know that character. And they pick one up, and them getting them in hand and seeing what a cool figure it is, that kind of opens up the spiral that they want a lot more. Travis, I know you're a retailer. You do a lot of shows. You evangelize and sell Mythic Legions all the time. Is that something you see as well?
I can tell you, I try to put the PowerCon debut figures, I try to put them like always like right up eye view, up nice and high. Not only is it the Motu aspect to it, but it's also the colors usually are kind of striking too. And then, I'll get people that come into my booth and they're like, oh, I had him. And I'm like, man, it's so funny because it used to get that with classics. People would just automatically see classics and think that was, the vintage toy line. But it is crazy how many people, their first Mythic is literally one of these debut figures. And then it starts them down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely great for that. And like I said, we see people at the shows that they immediately gravitate towards those. And a lot of times they will pick up something else because something else will catch their eye. And, the amount of people that we see on the Cabal or whatever that say, oh, Chronol was my first ever figure. And as soon as I opened it up and realized how fun it was, because these figures all have the alternate heads, right? So, you get Chrono and you put that skeleton head on and then you pop it off, you put the helmet on and you're like, oh, wow, is this what this line is about? This is super fun. And that opens that door.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's perfect.
So really cool figure. Again, PowerCon debut. So the plan as of right now is that this figure will, of course, be part of Mythic Legions All-Stars 5+. So to remind everybody, the pre-order for that wave happens, or it starts, I should say, on Friday, July 29th at 12 p.m. Eastern on storehorseman.com. This is going to be a wave. We've already seen the the All-Stars winners that are going to be part of this wave. Now we're seeing these PowerCon debut figures. The first ever Mythic Legions head pack is going to be in this wave, along with a number of brand new items that have never been released, never been seen before. So it's a really cool wave, which is why we decided to call it 5+. So that pre-order will happen like any other pre-order for Mythic Legions will. But additionally, the goal is that there will be a very limited number of these available at the PowerCon show in August, which is in Columbus, Ohio. Both of you guys are going to be at PowerCon this year, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
It's going to be fun. We're going to be there. That's going to be, I think, a fun weekend for Legions fans. I'm hearing a lot of Legions fans that are converging on Columbus for this event.
Perfect. That's going to be awesome.
It's probably going to be too much fun.
This is like Is PowerCon like the foreplay for LegionsCon?
I think so. It is
We'll
going to be
taste.
this perfect little setup for it, and we know what LegionsCon is going to be. I'm pretty excited to find out. I should say we know what LegionsCon was. I know that you have big plans for this one, which means it's going to be even more exciting.
Yeah.
But PowerCon will be it'll be a little bit of a nice lead up for it. That's for sure.
I agree. And the reason I'm kind of being a little cagey about whether these will be there is simply because I happen to know they're not in hand yet. So until we actually have hands on them and I know they are going, I am hesitant to say, yes, we will have a limited number there. I can tell you that is certainly the plan, that like in the past, there will be a limited number that you can pick up there. I will tell people, though, that the entire All-Stars 5 Plus wave will be on display at PowerCon because the pre-order starts a week before PowerCon. So all of the prototypes from the wave will be there on display, along, of course, with lots of other cool stuff and plenty of Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions items for sale at the show.
I can't wait. And I got to say, one of the things I am most excited to see out of this All-Stars Plus wave, two things. The other Motu figure, if there is one. There typically is two, so I don't know. I'm expecting another one. We'll see. But I really am curious to see what they did with that head pack. I just really, really excited to see what the heck what direction they went with that. And so, yeah, I'm pumped for that one.
Well, I think that I'm trying to think if that will be revealed by the time this gets posted. It's this reveal kind of plan to spread these out across a number of different creators and fans as a thank you. I will have to tell you that it's 11 different reveals and it's 11 times more work to get it done.
Oh yeah.
So, but it's hopefully fun. Hopefully people enjoy having stuff to look forward to the entire month of July. I know, guys, you were both around during the Kickstarter. I loved that sense of stretch goals, that sense of reveals where
it's fun.
Every day I say every day you were checking the Kickstarter. I was checking the Kickstarter probably 50 times a day.
Well, the thing is I remember not having to check the Kickstarter because I would see it online immediately.
No, that's how these are going to be. That's how these are going to be. If these reveals happen and they're going to be in the Cabal, they're going to be on the Four Horsemen social channels, they're going to be on sourcehorseman.com. To me, the stressful thing with Kickstarter stretch goals is you see something super cool and you're like, are we going to get there? There's that stress of, are we going to unlock that? Now, of course, with the Mythic Legions campaigns, every stretch goal introduced was opened up. But the nice thing about all of these reveals is there are no stretch goals. Everything you're seeing is guaranteed to be in that All-Stars 5 Plus wave.
I think this is a great idea, Jeremy, because I think it just helps, extend the excitement for these figures. So I'm pretty excited about the way you guys are rolling this out. I know it's a lot more work for you, probably especially in the studio, but this is going to be a fun little experience, and I think people are going to love getting a little shot of a Mythic Legion once a week or twice a week, for the next month.
I'm totally good with Jeremy working harder for me to have more fun. So
it is all about you, Stephen. When we were coming up with this, we asked ourselves what would make Stephen the happiest, and that was really our benchmark that we tried to hit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you very much for joining me on this 4th of July morning. That will be posted weeks after the 4th of July. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this experience and getting to see this reveal. Travis, it was fun to have you see it live here and get to read it, even if we kind of broke you for a minute when that reveal happened.
I can't wait to see what my face looked like.
It was so stoic.
Oh gosh, darn it.
Oh, perfect.
I'm glad I got back in time.
All right, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little spin around the block with LegionsCast for a great reveal. Thanks, Jeremy, for doing this and putting this together. And hey, we'll be back soon, and we'll see you around the land of Mythos.